We have to start here. I was tripping out about this. And to some degree, I even feel bad laughing about this. And if we weren't in a political campaign, I might feel bad about laughing at this. Look, senile people should not be made fun of. Just as a rule. Unless that senile person is running for office.
Caveat.
In which case, that person is fair game. Especially if that senile person is also a flagrant liar. Joe Biden, come on down. So, as you know, Joe Biden has been going out there making various comments about how he was part of the civil rights movement. Take a listen to this. Now, I've argued that Joe Biden's wife doesn't love him because if his wife loved him, she wouldn't have him out there doing this. My wife wouldn't have me out there looking crazy like this. But first, let's go to liar Joe Biden.
In the civil rights movement, we have the 8th largest black population in America. Most people don't know that. And I'd go to 8 o'clock Mass, then I'd go to Reverend Herring's church where we'd meet in order to organize and figure where we were going to go, whether we were going to desegregate the Rialto movie theater or what we were going to do. I got my education for real in the black church. And that's not hyperbole, it's a fact.
Ultimately, Joe Biden is using black people as props, and he's using the civil rights movement. I have great qualms with this. Using the civil rights movement, saying that he was a part of this particular movement to con black people into giving him their support. This is the truth, though. This is also the same Joe Biden. This is not me picking on him. This is me just clarifying and fact-checking flagrant liar that was not part of the civil rights movement. By his own words, Joe Biden.
60s, I was, in fact, very concerned about the civil rights movement. I was not an activist. I worked at an all-black swimming pool in the east side of Wilmington, Delaware. I was involved in what they were thinking, what they were feeling. I was involved, but I was not out marching. I was not down in Selma. I was not anywhere else. I was a suburbanite kid who got a dose of exposure to what was happening to black Americans when I'm in my own city.
That's the truth. That's the reality of it. Joe Biden's own words. What he means when he said he was a part of the civil rights movement, he was just alive at the time.
He said he was there with them in feeling.
In feeling. Thought. He was alive. He was there. It was on the news. He was
relating to their feelings, babe, so he was part of it.
Joe Biden was on stage looking black people in the face saying that he was marching in order to take the movie theater, to desegregate the movie theater.
He was there in
spirit.
Thought.
He was there in spirit with the other black people who were out there doing it.
Thoughts and prayers were with the people who were marching.
Now, this was the guy that was supposed to hold back the night. This was the guy that was supposed to stop Sanders. Joe Biden is out here now saying this. He has a new lie that he's peddling to various people. This lie was so egregious that the New York Times even calls bullshit on this particular lie. This is Joe Biden claiming he was arrested in South Africa while he was trying to go and see Nelson Mandela. And again, even the New York Times claims bullshit on this.
This day, 30 years ago, Nelson Mandela walked out of prison and entered into discussions about apartheid. I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robbins Island.
This lie is so egregious. This is so egregious. He is not content to use black people as props just domestically. He needs to go internationally to Nelson Mandela. Africans in a different country. No, that ain't right. And it's an outright flagrant lie. Joe Biden on stage is having difficulties. Now, it is possible. It is possible that Joe Biden actually believes he was arrested in South Africa. I've demonstrated to you that Joe Biden is a flagrant liar, so it's possible he's lying, but it's also possible Joe Biden is just senile and he doesn't entirely know what is going on. Listen to Joe Biden at another speech. Listen to what he says.
Ones that sent Barack Obama the presidency.
Now, listen carefully to what comes next. Listen to what Joe Biden is going to say as his closing pitch to people to get them to vote for him. Go ahead, Joe.
And I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other Biden. Give me a look, though, okay?
I'm Joe Biden. I'm running for the United States Senate. And if you don't want to vote for me, give me a look over, or you can vote for the other Biden. But give me a look, though. That's so bad. I'm running for the Senate. Give me a look over. Now, Joe Biden believes that the black vote.
The Senate?
He said the Senate, and
Say
he
that
said,
again? I missed the
or
Senate part.
you can vote for the other Biden. You didn't hear that? Listen to him again. Listen to him
It was
again.
such a fuck fest, and it's hard to listen to him because it's...
Listen to what he said. Listen to what he's saying.
From, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other Biden. Give me a look.
He said, I'll vote for the other Biden. Now, again.
Wait. Wait. Is this an old
That's
video?
No, this is recent. This is a
this
recent
when he
video
was
in
running
South
for Senate?
Carolina. No, this is first in the South, dinner in South Carolina, where he just said that. Sundowning Biden. Now, again.
The sun is set. It is done.
Sunset
it is
Biden.
Darkness there. There is no light
No.
whatsoever. That
Again,
is
you
terrible.
don't hit a man.
Wait,
when
did
a
he
man is
correct
that difficult.
himself?
You heard him. That was the time. That was the phrase. So here's the thing. Joe Biden tends to believe that the African American vote is intrinsically embedded in his DNA. He's been running around like striding with the black vote as if that's his firewall. I have the black vote. I have the black vote. That's the thing that's going to help me win this particular primary. And even South Carolina, he went immediately from his scorching loss in New Hampshire to South Carolina with the thought that South Carolina is going to be his firewall. That's going to be where I make my last stand. Joe Biden knows that his political career is entirely on the line. And he is standing there. He's just holding a sword and shield. Joe Biden has a problem, though. With Bernie Sanders taking Nevada in such massive, scorching numbers, what did I say? When Sanders takes Nevada in big numbers, he is going to go into Nevada with a head of steam. I've said that for at least several weeks. I also said that Joe Biden is going to lose South Carolina. This channel, has also said that the black vote, a lot of it has to do with who keeps the monsters at bay, meaning it wasn't tethered to Joe Biden like it was sold to his hide or something. It had everything to do with Joe Biden and the notion of electability. Who keeps the monsters at bay? And the moment that it becomes clear or possible that Joe Biden can't potentially keep the monsters at bay, saying stuff like that, Joe Biden can't keep the monsters at bay. The moment that that becomes clear and the moment that Sanders becomes more electable, the black vote will move to Sanders. It is not an issue of we just love Joe Biden. It's more of an issue of we just think Joe Biden has the best chance of winning. When that trend changes, again, this channel infinitely loves trends. When that trend changes, things also change in the poll. Now, Joe Biden was winning South Carolina by like 30 points at one point. Joe Biden was having the black vote by like 20 points or more. For the first time, take a look at this. This is, I have a lot of polls up, so hold on. Give me one second.
A lot of windows up.
So, in California, Sanders takes the black vote by nearly 10. This is California. Reuters, Sanders, 26, Bloomberg 15, Biden 15. But what's more interesting, in that Reuters poll, if I can find it, in that Reuters poll, Sanders, for the first time, takes the black vote. Now, and so that last poll that we saw, Morning Consult. Morning Consult keeps track of all of these, the polling, and they have a huge number of people participating in the polls. Sanders, before Nevada, was at 28%. After Nevada, 32%, meaning he surged that much more. How's that ceiling looking? Bloomberg, before Nevada, was 20%. After Nevada, 19%. Listen to what they say, though. At the same time, a separate Morning Consult poll, found 34% of said Sanders has the best chance of beating Trump, up 5 points. That's the electability argument. Post New Hampshire, and 11 points higher, who identified Bloomberg as the electable candidate. Morning Consult tracking poll also finds that Sanders leading the field among black voters for the first time as the race moves to South Carolina, the second successive state with a significant black population a former Joe Biden campaign views as a firewall. 33% of black Democrat primary voters said they're backing Sanders compared to 29% who said Biden within the subsample's 4-point average. Now, keep in mind, right here, this is not a quirk. 34% said Sanders has the best chance beating Trump, up 5 points post New Hampshire. What is that? That's the argument for electability. And the moment that the electability argument went up for Sanders and went down for Biden, what happened? The black vote also changed. Who told you that the black vote is about who keep the monsters at bay? Me, because I grew up in a black family, totally understanding that there was no second choice. The only choice that was on that ballot was Democrat. You walked in, you voted D. You didn't even care who that Democrat was. What was the most important thing is that he keep the monsters at bay and don't let the Republicans in. Your dad, perfect example. Her dad and I, all of us were having a conversation about politics. And I was making the point about the problems with Democrats. He'd agree with me. He said, quote, yeah, but you can't vote for a Republican because you can't let a Republican get in office. This is just understood. Other groups may not fully entirely get this because when they go and vote, they vote for multiple parties. But African Americans, almost in our DNA, understands that the creatures that were in those parties that was against us, just based on the color of our skin, went to the other party. As such, from a familial thing, who keeps the monsters at bay? Now, the catch is, that's not entirely true for the younger generation. It's slightly different. But if you're talking about the majority, that's what the number is. So in Reuters, or Morning Consult poll, we have Sanders taking the black vote for the first time. In Reuters, we have Sanders taking the black vote for the first time. 26% for Sanders, 23% for one Joe Biden. That is a sea change. In the NBC News poll, right here, Biden, 31% of blacks support Biden, while 29% support Sanders. That means that the trend that was keeping Joe Biden alive for all of this time in this particular race, the black vote, has just fell apart. What does that mean for Joe Biden in South Carolina? You tell me. My argument is that Joe Biden loses South Carolina. And when Joe Biden loses South Carolina, he may limp to Georgia. I don't know why, but his political career at this point is over. And his wife, that does not love him, would at the very least give him popcorn or something. I mean, ultimately, his last stand is South Carolina. He has done absolutely horrendous in these last few elections. In Nevada, he did pretty decent. But in the other two, horribly. People of color, especially blacks, was his thing. Sanders is taking the Hispanic vote by margin. To put this in perspective, listen to this, in the Nevada caucus. Sanders took 51% of the Hispanic vote. You can combine everybody else, they wouldn't catch him.
And he took what percent?
51%.
Okay.
Among the liberal vote, he took 52%.
Can we show the poll?
Yeah. This is the exit polling from the event. Exit polls, whites, Sanders, 28%. Non-white, Sanders, 44%. Among Hispanics, 51%. Among liberal voters, 52%. Even moderate voters. I don't know if I have the New York Times article up, but the New York Times article goes into this notion that even moderate voters, Sanders, for the first time, was able to narrowly beat Biden and the other moderates in the race. He took the number for voters under 40 and the number for voters over 40. He took union members He took non-union members. Like, it's hard to get across how he has been dominating this race, and the coalition he has been able to put together is utterly phenomenal. 18 to 45, Sanders takes 60%. 18 to 45, he takes 60%. 45 and older, he takes 20%, tying and drawing even with Joe Biden.
You know what I said?
Who stops him?
Oh.
Honestly, who stops him?